My name is Stella Guerrero.
I'm Clarence Guerrero.
We're CG&S founders.
I was born 28 or 30. I don't remember exactly. You?
28.
Huh?
28.
28, okay. My father was a carpenter. Actually, he learned to be a carpenter around the time I was born because he worked in a company on 6th Street in Austin that was a hardware company. So he sold hardware and he learned all about them, and so he started carpentry. I followed him from the day, when I was about 4 years old. I went with him everywhere he went. He had a little Ford pickup. It was 1930.
We didn't have nothing to begin with, so depression is just another day, you know. Although being that my dad was a tailor, he had his job all the time because it was a tailor in a men's shop, which was high-end shop. So the rich people still had bought suits and pants and everything, so his job was always active. Now his was different.
It was very difficult, even when I was a little kid, running around with my daddy. My dad looked for work because there wasn't any money around, and he would barter with people to get work and then trade, very little money. And then that's one of the reasons why I went in the Navy. I was 18 years old when I joined the Navy, and I got out 2 years later, started my carpentry work again. That's all I knew. Before that, I remember going to 1 year to architectural drafting school. And then I started my carpentry work up until I met Stella.
We were at a dance at St. Edward's University. In those days, most girls and boys went to dance single. And I was sitting with my other two friends, and he came and asked my friend to dance, but somebody beat him to it. I was left all alone at the table. So he asked me to dance, and that's when we met.
What year was that when we married?
1953.
53. And that's where CG&S started. When we married, I took her into a brand new house I built before we married. Just a small house, but it was a beautiful little house, and I had bought the land. And then we started having children, and we were stacking them up on the wall. I built beds on the wall, and I was looking for a piece of land out in the country. She had a cousin that's a salesman. He sold people's land, and he found just what I wanted. I was just the right size for trucks, for storage, for office. And he found this place where CG&S sits today.
His role was always the lead, the estimator, the lead role, you know. Mine was everything that consists of the office. Everything that you can imagine in the office that 30 people do right now.
Everything had to be done. You did it because it was a growing company. I did all estimating. I didn't have an estimator. I run from job to job to keep it going. I ran all the jobs myself.
That was at home and raising 8 kids and taking care of the house, taking care of the kids.
Well, the business was always in our home, and it didn't move out of the house until I think I was in college, or even sometime after that. So we were always expected to be responsible, answering phones, or to help out on job sites, more so my brothers than the girls. And just conscious, aware of the fact that they had a business to run. That was how they provided for the family. My mom was she was the glue. She kept everyone together. She, in many ways, what was obvious to me, a bigger role in taking care of the entire family, and at the same time being the backbone of the company and making sure everyone, all the books were done and money was coming in and people were being paid, and everyone was taken care of.
I started working for my dad as 8 years old, 6 to 8 years old, literally picking up trash from job sites. And then it evolved from there, doing scraping of houses, kind of labor work for the first many years. In high school, my dad was just full-time working naturally, and his job took forever, and it took a lot of time. It was early morning till late evening, and I know this because he never was able to attend a lot of our events when we were going through high school. And it was more of my mom who, again, took care of the books and took care of the hauling us around different events and activities that we did. Later on in the years, I understood why my dad was working so hard and what it took to get there. And then, of course, Mom was just his support. And I think Mom was pretty confident about what Dad did and his trade and so forth, that she knew she would always have a meal on the table for the kids. I've always worked for my dad, off of a school year in the summertime, on projects, again, just doing a lot of labor work until I was in high school is when it started evolving for me personally, doing more carpentry work. And through my later years in high school, I kind of figured out this is what I wanted to do for a living. I had opportunity to go to college and I didn't, and decided that I wanted to work with my father. And so I stuck with it, learned through him and through other carpenters that my dad hired, and learned the business, learned the construction part of it. Billy came on probably in '77. He was actually set up to go to college to UT. I mean, we did things like painted his room burnt orange. He had everything set up, and the very day he was going to go, he decided not to. My dad was just livid about it, and I just kind of stood back in the wings just watching, seeing that my dad wasn't happy about it. And Billy just decided to change his mind and not go to school. And my dad said, well, if you're not going to go to school, it's time to go to work. So I guess back in '77, '78 maybe, is when he started working as well.
Did you experience prejudice?
Why, certainly I did, all my life. Me and my father and my brother were the only three carpenters, Hispanics. And we felt it right there that put us in the sloppy jobs, the hardest jobs are...
Or the last one to go on the job.
Yeah, and that's why I really got into my business. I feel that it's moving to better today, but I never can forget going to the jobs in a car, one car, at 4 or 5 of us carpenters, and we stopped to eat in a cafe, and they talked to the Anglos, the American Anglos, and then they'd order, and I'd sit there, and I finally said, how about me? Oh, I'm sorry, we don't serve Mexicans. Now that's the filthiest word in the American speech. And these 4 guys got up first and walked out with me. And I was so proud of them, even till today. I had a lot of those in my life, a lot of them.
The only time through the business that I experienced that was when I decided that I wanted to join the Austin Remodeling. association, and I was turned down. And later on, I was a member of the NAWIC, National Association of Women in Construction. And a lot of the women that were part of the Austin Remodel says, Stella, why haven't you never joined? I says, I did, but I was turned down. He says, why? I says, do you wonder why? Why I was turned down? I said, we had a business, we had an office, we had everything, and I was turned down. He said, well, I want you to join now. I says, no, thank you. I don't need you now. You need me, but I don't need you.
When I look back at Mom and Dad and our family and how we were living, it was abundant. So by that time, from 57 to 1972, let's say, they had established themselves enough, they had enough customers, they had enough referrals, they had enough repeat clients, and things were thriving. And so we were successful, like they were successful people. And they, you know, we didn't take a lot of trips, but we were happy, and we had a lot of, you know, we had a nice house and we had a lot of things. And, you know, so to me, I felt like this is going pretty good. I think that as they established their company, and as they, at the same time that they were establishing their company, they were growing their family. And so I think that those, at first, where it was just a business model where I'm going to do a bunch of work so we can get some money so we can live, it became a business model where we're going to create something that's meaningful, a company that's meaningful. And as they branched out in doing that, and as our family grew, I think they started thinking, maybe this is something we can give to our kids, or maybe this is something our children will do. And I don't think they had an idea of how that was going to happen, but I believe that, especially for my dad, I believe that that was something that he wanted, to kind of develop a company that was useful and important and productive. You know, it produced. My mom and dad's story, in a lot of ways, is a love story. It's a love that they've had for their family and themselves, each other. They've just worked so hard to create something that's been so important in so many people's lives. And I just feel like that needs to be told. And I want to honor them. And I want them to know how much I appreciate everything that they've done for us and for our CG&S family. And I want them to see that this is you, and this is your story. This is what you created, and it's amazing.